Welcome back to the Organized Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, and today we're diving into episode 2 of the 4-part series called The Real Cost of Disorganization. In this series, my main point is to just help you see that nothing's wrong, you're not broken, you're not too far gone, whatever it is, but that there is hope in understanding the real reason behind disorganization and what you can do about it is the key to move forward. Remember, in episode 1 last week, we looked at the stories behind disorganization. Those that sound like I should be able to do this myself. I've tried before and failed. This is just how I am. We kind of talked about how it's not really about the clutter. It's more about the meaning you've attached to the clutter or the story that keeps you stuck. So think back from last week about the story that you have that keeps you stuck. And then we kind of shifted to rewriting those stories with real examples from listeners that replied to an email that I sent out. Okay, today we're going one layer deeper. Because if you know your story, maybe you've started to realize, oh, that's just a story. I believe that change is possible, but here's where I want to focus today. You still feel too overwhelmed to begin. Maybe you're too distracted. You have too many things, too many deadlines, too little time. You're mentally tired. The task feels too big to organize your business or your home. If that's you, then this episode is for you. And we are going to dive in to what to do when you're too overwhelmed to begin. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. Let's go. This is when your brain wants this. It really wants to have a clean, simple business where you can find what you need, where you know where things are, where you can create efficiency in how you're carrying things out and eventually passing those on to have someone else do. It wants all of that. It knows it wants that. It knows it would be beneficial. But then it's telling you, not now. I don't have time. We're going to learn why overwhelm shows up and how it blocks your progress and what to do when the idea of getting organized feels impossible. So if you've been stuck, if you've been putting it off, if your to-do list feels heavy, then take a breath. And I say it like that. My oldest son, when he was little, we have videos of him picking something up and he would just be like, it's heavy. And he would say it like that. So I think of your to-do list like, oh, it's so heavy and messy. Sometimes, when your to-do list is just so messy and you're scribbling all the things down that you need to do and it's so disorganized and you don't have a system for even getting those executed or planning, and it's just a big mess. If you keep telling yourself you'll get to it later when you have more time, you will want to listen to this. So let's look at what's actually going on when you say, I'm too overwhelmed to get organized. Here's what I've heard because of what people sent in to me, and also just know that this is what happens in my own life as well. I think it feels too big. I'm mentally tired and I can't make one more decision. That was from Victoria. Robin says, I allow too many distractions and give myself too much grace. Allow too many distractions. I mean, just last night, I got an email of someone that was doing a webinar, and I thought to myself, everything she does is amazing. I want to see it. And I paused before I signed up and I was like, Tracy, is this a distraction? Do you need to focus on other things? As much as you think you could learn from her and learn something new and, enjoy what she says, is that a distraction? Is it keeping me from my goals? Those were some questions I asked myself. Jennifer said, I know what to do. I just can't get myself to do it. And then Ruth said, I work from home. I have no time. I'm juggling everything and I'm tired. If you relate to any of those, just realize here, you're not alone. So when your mind's overloaded, the simple act of sorting a file, making a folder, tossing old papers, it feels like you're climbing a mountain. It feels like you can't even allow your brain to think about it because of all this other stuff. So overwhelm says it's too much. Distraction is telling you, look over here, do this. This is the answer. Decision fatigue says, let's not decide anything at all. It's swimming in all the possibilities. So those three forces, if you look at those, overwhelm, distraction, and decision fatigue, become kind of like the perfect storm. And that leads you to not take action and not get organized. So I want to give you some real life examples. Can you relate to this one? So you have a worksheet that you attach to your content that you put out every month in your membership or whatever. And you've downloaded it and you have it in a certain spot. But every time you go to upload it to the portal that month, you're not sure where it is because you have 4 folders that have to do with that program and you can't remember which folder you put it in. So you're randomly going through stuff, trying to find the worksheet that you upload literally every month. But at the end of that, you find it, you attach it, but then you don't have time. You don't take the time. You're too overwhelmed with getting this out by the deadline that you don't go back and fix it. So the next month comes and you have the same thing. You have 4 folders labeled. You can't remember which folder it is. And each month you do the same thing over and over and never fix that. And the reason you don't fix it is because you have too much going on. You are doing other things. You're distracted and you're just tired. So once you finish your content, you don't want to go back and fix that, or you immediately forget about it until the next month when you're trying to find it again. Okay, that's a business example. If we look at a home example, let's just imagine that you have a pile of paper on your dining room table or your corner of your kitchen counter or your desk, wherever it is. And it has mail, random things, just a big pile. And you walk past it every day and you think, ugh, I should handle that. How did I let it get so big? I should have dealt with that before. But when you sit down to do it, if you do, or you kind of walk by, you pick something off the top, you don't even know where to start. And all of a sudden your brain feels super foggy, or you pick up your phone and you're like, let me go get that laundry put in. Oh, we have to figure out what's for dinner. And you just do anything else and you keep leaving it there. So the cost of those things is stress. You have this low grade stress, this sense of failure that you haven't done it. You're disconnected from either your home or your business, whichever example you look at. In your business, it's the confidence piece of it because every month you keep doing things that waste time. And wasting that time could have meant that you could have sent an offer out to someone. You could have reached out to one person in particular. So we can see what it's costing us. The paper situation as well. I mean, there's so many things. You could be paying late fees. You could be missing an invitation and hurt someone's feelings because you'd never replied, or could have a tax bill, whatever it is. There's so many things that could be forgotten in that paper, or your kid didn't get their permission slip sent in, all those kinds of things. So disorganization from being overwhelmed, staying in disorganization is costing you revenue. You're not pitching, you're not following up, you're not implementing systems that are actually going to help you. It's costing you that mental energy. Notice that the brain fatigue, the decision fatigue, the seeing the clutter and the silent yelling at you. You need to deal with me. What's wrong with you? I'm sitting here waiting. And then the confidence, you question yourself more, you're showing up less, and peace. When you are doing the same things over and over, you do not feel peaceful. When you walk past the same thing over and over, you do not feel peaceful. So the clutter is loud and it keeps you from hearing what is possible. I know if you're listening, you maybe can relate to those examples. So you're super overwhelmed. You haven't made any changes. You don't even know where to start. What should you do? I'm going to teach you 4 simple things that you can do right now that will help you overcome, navigate, work through the overwhelm and get out of feeling stuck. The first thing is to decide when you're going to get organized. You don't even have to decide right now. You know you need to. You probably know you want to. You probably know it'll help you, but you haven't decided to do it. And so I want you to put an appointment on your calendar for next week, for tomorrow, that says decide when I'm going to get organized. Okay. And then I want you to plan when that is. When your appointment comes, I want you to plan when it is. Is it next quarter? Is it, I'm going to start next week? Is it this certain time? And I want you to get it on the calendar and block off that time. I like to do this when you're planning your year or when you're planning your quarter and looking at your projects, that you decide on a quarter of the year that you're going to really focus in on organization. And you put that at the beginning of that quarter, and that's when you're going to focus on it. Okay, so deciding is a huge deal. It's deciding that this is going to be your focus. This is a priority in this time in your life. Okay, once you've decided, you're going to need to know how to get organized. So then you need to get that support. So you're going to find a coach. You're going to find a co-working group. You're going to find an accountability partner, but do it with someone else. That's what keeps you doing the project of organization. That's what keeps you motivated. It doesn't have to be a solo project. And the thing is with that support, if it's working with someone else, you guys together decide what your plan of attack is, I guess you would say. You decide what your process is going to be to make that happen. If it's with a coach, we probably already have that planned out. In Organized Coach Academy, we have a plan, step-by-step checklist that you're going to go through and work on one thing at a time. If it's a co-working session or accountability, you're going to have that together, or search the internet, find a plan, ask ChatGPT, whatever it is that you want to do, but you need to have support to help you stay focused and to get a plan of attack on how to do it. That makes sense with your brain. And remember that it needs to make sense to you and needs to be super simple so that you'll keep going. And then the third thing is to choose one entry point. You are not going to declutter the whole house or revamp your whole business. You're going to pick one tiny corner of one task. So instead of, I'm going to organize my whole computer. No, today you're going to rename 3 files, or you're going to make the 5 folders on your website. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with the 5 folders, go watch my free training, simplysquaredaway.com/5 files. Okay, simplysquaredaway.com/5 files. And you can learn what organization looks like, what my framework is, and what the only 5 folders you need to organize your business to create a profitable business that is so simply organized that you're going to love it. Okay, so making those 5 folders might be what the task that you choose, the tiny corner of one task. Instead of cleaning out the garage, you're going to choose remove 1 item from the garage, or put it in a trash bag that you're going to take to donate, or throw it in the trash, whatever it is. So it's either you're going to rename 3 things, you're going to remove 1 item, you're going to create 5 folders. You're going to move 2 things into those folders. That's your entry point. And then you also Number 4 is to use the power of time. Setting a timer for 15 minutes is so helpful. Creating a boundary gives your brain safety. I am only doing this for 15 minutes. That's it. I'm only going to do this for 30 minutes. I have a calendar appointment on the calendar for next week. That's it. That's the only time I'm going to do it. You're not working on this endlessly. Use the power of time. Okay, so first thing is decide. Put an appointment on your calendar. Second thing is to get support or get a plan of action that makes sense to your mind, to your brain. The third one is to choose one entry point. Make a tiny, tiny task. And then the fourth thing is to use the power of time. The last thing I want you to think about is the permission or the possibility. So let me say this. If you're mentally tired, if your to-do list feels endless, if you're too distracted to even plan a solution, or honestly, you probably don't even know the solution and you don't even want to think about it or try to figure it out or try to plan for it, none of that means that you can't be organized. Really, I've seen every type of person, tired, overwhelmed, neurodivergent, whatever. I've seen all types of people be organized and get organized in their life. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means that you've been trying to hold too much without enough support or systems. That's it. Really think about this. I think of my client who has a team and she doesn't know where anything is to get to her team. She's just holding too much together without enough support or systems. Imagine what would change if you had both of those things. If you had support in figuring those things out and you had systems in place to get those accomplished. Imagine what it would be like if you knew what to focus on in the project of getting organized. I mean, yes, if you knew what to focus on in your business in general would be amazing. But imagine if you knew what to focus on in the project of getting it organized. Imagine waking up and knowing where your files are. Imagine knowing that when you have a to-do list, you have a system for writing the to-do list down, executing it, where it goes, where ideas go, where reoccurring tasks go. I mean, imagine having all of that systemized in your business and that you actually have the breathing room. And then imagine that in your home as well, depending on where you're at. Sometimes people have really organized homes, but they don't have an organized business. And sometimes people have a mess in both places. Either way, it's totally possible that you can get organized in both of those. So to wrap up, overwhelm says it's too much. Distraction says, look over here. This is better. This is what you need. Decision fatigue says, let's just not decide anything at all. And those three things create the feeling of it never being possible. And so you never even consider or make a decision that it is possible. And so those are the steps to making a change, even when you're feeling overwhelmed, is put it on your calendar right now that you're going to choose a time to make a decision about when you're going to get organized. Then I want you to find the support, come into Organized Coach Academy, work one-on-one with me, or if you have something else, get the support and the plan that you need, step-by-step plan. Third, choose one entry point. Break the task down so it's so tiny that it's not overwhelming. And then use the power of time. Boundaries give your brain safety. Okay, we'll see you next week for episode 3 in this 4-part series, The Real Cost of Disorganization. Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.